forth and just do a brief share. First, I want to talk about my bulletproof drink, which is basically some matcha. I know some people drink bulletproof coffee, which basically includes, some healthy fats for good brain health and immunity. So what I added was, of course, my matcha and some boiled water, some grass-fed butter, some MCT oil, coconut oil. And why that's all really significant in making your morning drink bulletproof is because it helps improve brain function, and it's excellent for brain health and energy. I wanted to just do a brief share of some of the ingredients that I did put into my matcha bulletproof drink, and that is some grass-fed cow's butter. And I know a lot of people say a lot of things about, cow's milk. I don't really consume it a lot of dairy, but when I do, if I do, it's grass-fed butter. And this is a really good brand. No added hormones, sea salted, grass-fed, because it has the K2 in it. And as we know about K2, it helps in the absorption of vitamin D3, so it can go where it needs to go to boost bone health, bone density, as well as improve immunity for the body. So that's grass-fed butter. And while grass-fed, any type of meat or dairy is very significant. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's worth it, especially when you know what it does for your health. Now, MCT oil, there's different kinds. I didn't bring mine. I have a little show and tell, but I didn't bring it. It's coconut oil is what I used. And as we know about coconuts, they are the equivalent of a woman's breast, especially when she's breastfeeding. It has that colostrum in it, and that's the significance of MCT oil and colostrum, because it has that healthy fat in it. It helps boost immunity. It helps boost brain function. So that's the importance of bulletproofing your drink early in the morning. And I had the grass-fed butter. I have, some creamer in it, which was almond and coconut, milk, and some water and some matcha, and it's pretty good. If you haven't checked it out, make your own. And it's quite, I did add a little bit of maple syrup to this as well. Well, let me keep it here. Very creamy, very delicious. Just a hint of salt to make it a little extra sweet, creamy. You can barely taste the matcha with this. I probably added too much creamer, but that's okay. But anyway, I wanted to come forth and talk about immunity, because we never can get enough of talking about it, because maybe I don't reach a very broad range of audience, but maybe somehow one day somewhere it'll be of significance to someone, of how it reaches you, what you can do to boost your own immune system. And in this day and time is what we need to resort back to, what we need to practice, what we need to continue to share and continue to do for our bodies, our families, our neighbors, etc. So one thing we want to go back to doing and realizing is that the body is a very intelligent machine. It's a very intelligent vessel. And I know we as humans, we like to reinvent the wheel. We like to make things better, and that's good. I've seen some miraculous things happen that way. But one thing that we do need to resort back and remember is that the body, when it has an invasion from a bacteria or virus, it knows how to respond. It knows how to defend itself. And it heats up, and we sometimes get a fever. And of course we do get a fever if it heats up enough. And that's the body's way of saying, hey, something is here, we're gonna fire it up, we're gonna get rid of it. And that's what the body do. And we have been taught to take Tylenol or NSAID or something to bring that fever down. And the importance of that is remembering is that yes, you don't want the brain to overheat. It's like a computer. You don't want it to overheat. The brain is a computer, basically. It's where, our hardware is. It's where, neurons and, things like that occur to help the body function. So you don't want that to overheat. So in some instances, Tylenol has its part, but as a whole, what we need to tend to remember is that when you feel yourself getting sick, you do want to heat yourself up, let yourself heat up, and keep your head cool, you know. And one thing that's very significant that we didn't have a shower when I was growing up, but my grandmother used to put some type of pig's oil on it, and if you had it on long enough, it'll heat you up. We go outside in the sun, and then we wrap up and go to bed, and we will sweat. And the significance of that also is that she will also put ice cold towel or a piece of a cloth around our head to keep our heads cool. So that's one thing that we have to remember about protecting ourselves, is knowing that our body knows what to do. Of course, we don't want to overheat our computer, so protect your head to protect your brain when you overheat, if you feel you're overheating. So, and another significant thing to remember is hot and cold showers. That helps what some people call interferon. I just heard about that not too long ago, about the hot and cold. You take a hot shower and cool yourself down. That basically causes the body to stress itself up and helps boost the immune system. So that's something to remember to defend your body against diseases as well. Another way is intermittent fasting. I do that quite a lot, and people are picking up on doing that a lot. I'm not saying about starving yourself, but certain times a day, you just choose those times to eat while the body continues to make sure that we feed the good bacteria in our body with the right things. One way to do that I just learned from Dr. Hyman is with cranberry juice, real cranberry juice. And this right here is Lakewood Organics. It's about $13 for this little bottle, but it's worth it. I mix it with other juices, like orange juice and things like that. Maybe add some water to it and consume it, because it feeds the good bacteria in your body so that it can continue to protect your body from foreign invaders that are not supposed to be there. So just remember that. I think it's called acromanthin, to help feed the good bacteria in your body. Consume real organic cranberry juice. I found this particular one at Whole Foods. Now, it's very bitter, and bitter foods are really good for you. So if you haven't tried it, try it. A lot of people know it from basically urinary tract infections. It doesn't necessarily cure urinary tract infection, but what it does, it helps build the good bacteria in your system so that the bad bacteria cannot thrive. So that's what that does, and it prevents it from sticking to the walls of the bladder, because the good guys are there to help protect. So that's another way. Another way that I like to make sure that we're doing for the home is make sure your house is ventilated. Open the windows. I don't care what time of the year it is. Open the windows, open the doors. Viruses and bacteria don't like to or can't thrive in a place that's very well ventilated. So open your space up. Just like now with everything that's going on, people meet and greet outside in very low incidences of, virus situations. When you're not in a place that has a very high viral load, people will have less chance of contracting the virus. So if you're going to gather, make sure it's outside, it's not too many people. So that's important to do. Another thing to know about viruses, they don't like they don't like smoke. So I like to use a lot of my very good friend, sage, at least once a week. Also, what I like to do is very good is making sure that I have me and my kids steam my nostrils. And let me get that. I forgot to get this. And basically, you boil your water, add some eucalyptus leaves, add some lime leaves, add some oil of oregano, and just basically get a towel and put your face over it and inhale that. You only need, it depends on how big the pot is, but I only use about 1 or 2 drops of oregano oil. So that's definitely very good with boosting the immune system. And speaking of oregano oil, that's excellent for boosting the immune system, also for fighting off many types of bacteria and viruses in the body as well. One of my favorite, I have different brands in the house, but one of my favorite is Oliver Wild Oregano Super Strength. This is excellent. You only need 1 drop of this, but basically it's excellent for supporting the immune system. You want to make sure that it has at least 20% of carrot oil in it to help boost the immune system. And like I said, you only need 1 drop of it. Probably said that word wrong, but you only need 1 drop of it when you're consuming it in hot water, or even inhaling it, you know, for your nasal steams with your lime leaves and your eucalyptus leaves. So just keep that in mind, and you can consume it. The thing about that, since it's so antimicrobial, antibacterial, antifungal, antiseptic, I wouldn't recommend using it around the clock, because it's sort of like an antibiotic. Even though it's a natural antibiotic, you don't want to completely, thoroughly clean out your system. I would say use it maybe a week on, a week off, when, you know, the incidence of infections are higher. I'll say that. So that's an excellent arsenal to have in your home. Oregano oil, like I said, I have various brands, at least 3 or 4 brands in my house. I would not recommend taking it every day. Let's see, what else? Speaking of eucalyptus leaves, excellent if you have a cold, a virus, or want to prevent, is vapor rub. And this is been used even when I was a little girl. We used to put it on our chest. We used to consume it. It has eucalyptus in it, whether you knew it or not. But it's excellent for boosting the immune system and also protecting the body as well. Let's see what else. Oh, another thing, mushrooms I mentioned before are excellent for boosting the immune system. Mycology is an excellent field of study. I don't seem to have enough time to go as deep into it as I wanted to. I've talked about mushrooms before in short, but I have not spoken of this. I've seen it grown in the wilds, like if I go for walks or hikes, and you have to be careful because some of it is like pseudo turkey tail, so I haven't really picked it to want to actually use it. But I have bought it in this form, turkey tail from Ohm, and I'll probably take it maybe like during the high infectious disease seasons. I'll consume this more, but like I said, I don't consume a lot of vitamins and minerals, but there are significant ones that I do. But turkey tail is excellent for supporting the immune system. If you haven't researched it, if you don't know about it, you might want to look into turkey tail. It's excellent for supporting the immune system. Lots of research on giving this to cancer patients for boosting the immune system. Check it out. Let's see what else. Vitamins I've talked about before. D3. That's one of the vitamins that I definitely do consume every day, as much as possible lately. 5,000 units. Some people consume more than that. You have to know your body and make your own decisions. And if you're consuming a large amount, you need to make sure also that you are consuming C3 or K2 to make sure that vitamin D is going where it's supposed to go in your bloodstream. It can also form as plaques or calcium deposits. It can cause spikes in your cholesterol or calcium deposits and possible plaques and clots in the system. So you want to be careful about that. Also kidney stones. So calcium kidney stones to be exact. So be careful when you're consuming D3. Too much of anything could be harmful. You just have to know what you're doing. Just make sure also that in some form you're consuming some K2 or K2 supplements or C3. So that's what I have to say. I can't express. I've talked about D3 before. I'll probably do a different video on D3. Of course, the sun is the supreme. During these summer months, spring months, you want to make sure you're in the sun as much as possible. It is king, of course. Nothing can really replace it, but D3 is close to it. So make sure that you get the most sun first thing in the morning and high noon, and before it starts to set are basically the most significant times to make sure that it is touching your body, or you're looking into it or looking away from it and making sure that you're able to absorb it, not only in your skin but in your eyes as well. So that's something. What else? Also, garlic is excellent for boosting the immune system. Make sure you consume that. Also, lemon, make sure you consume that. I consume lemon lately almost every day. I put it in my green tea. Make sure you do that to help boost your immune system as well. Those are just a few things to just talk about, because like I said, I can't talk about it enough, because like I said, it's going to reach different people different ways, different things to say, something to add, something that I may forget and wanted to talk about. I kind of like prepared. I just got take some things to a friend to help them out. So that's why I have this stuff right here prepared. So to share, to make sure that I mention in this video. Like I said, there's not enough you can say about boosting one's immune system. The importance of it cannot be expressed enough. So that's it for now. That's what I wanted to come forth and share. Hopefully somehow this is helpful. Make sure that you're getting outside, getting your sun, making sure that you're supplementing well, eating well, staying away from alcohol and sugar and GMO foods and foods with high preservatives in them, and drinking lots of water, consuming your green teas, your matchas, and those supplements that I just mentioned. Take care of yourselves and continue to be well. Anyway, thanks for visiting the system. Thanks for visiting the city, and I hope that you all have a beautiful day. Take care.